Sponsor My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. Today's Ramble is sponsored by Wellstoned Landscapes. From lawn to luxury, creating outdoor elegance. Wellstoned Landscapes covers most areas of Yorkshire. If you mention the Ramble, you'll receive 10% off any work. Call Paul or find him on Facebook in the details below.
Like and subscribe to Blade Ramble.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is your countdown to kick-off ahead of a very, very tough test against Mill. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Going to be a really tough game. I put this up there with being just as tough as when Ipswich came to town last weekend. But what happened when Ipswich came to town? Sheffield United did Sheffield United things. And Sheffield United beat the form team in the league. Just as you were coming on then, I thought, do you know what I hadn't done? I hadn't checked to see where Millwall are in the form table. Let me just, I think I've got an idea because I was preparing for this. And I've also been filming with Carl and Con today. Championship form table. Here we go. And yeah, the top. Yeah, Millwall are top of the last 6 games. So won 4, drawn 1, lost 1. Okay. This is another really tough one, isn't it? A really tough one. Bit of news before we get going though. I think, let me see if I can find it. Ryan has gone out on loan to Lincoln. Good move, I think that. Lincoln are second, I believe. Oh, they certainly were before last night. They were second in League One, and let's see if they're still there. Just as I might as well get you right information rather than just blag my way through it. So Lincoln are still second on 55. They're 6 points clear of Bolton in second and played a game less. So they've a real strong chance of getting promoted this season. It's not a gimme that he gets straight into their side, even though he's got all the tools to be very good at, particularly at League One level at this stage of his career and his development. I think it's a really good move for him. It could have gone to somebody like Rotherham or Barnsley, who are struggling, at the minute. But he's going to a side that are full of confidence, playing really well, and he's got a fight to get in the team, and then he's got a fight to stay in the team, and that's what we want. That's what we want. We want him to have that sort of competition, playing in a good side with confidence flowing. I like it as a move. I really like it. So let's get on to what we're getting on to. Let me know your thoughts in comments on Ryan O'Neill's move. But I think that's a really strong move for him into League One, and hopefully he gets the minutes that we're hoping he gets. Okay, we move on to Millwall, and I'm gonna mix it up a little bit this time because I feel like we end up glossing over our opponents because we talk about Sheffield United first. Well, really, we should talk about the opposition first and give a bit of credence and a bit of credit to what we're up against. So look at this. I'm going to just move around the way that we talk through things on Countdown to Kickoff because I think this might have a better flow to it. So we know, because we've just told you, over the last 6 games, they've won 4. So that if we were to add another one on, it'd be another win there. Drawn 1 and lost 1. The loss, so what does it tell you there? The loss was to Coventry. Absolutely no shame in that. The draw was Southampton, and that were a 0-0. But Millwall are a very, very good side this year. Very good. Let's have a look at where they are in the champ table, actually, compared to us. We know that they're 5th in the league, because it said it on there, but in terms of how strong they're into 49 points. 49 points. As opposed to our 35. It's going to be some going in it. People that think we've still got a chance at playoffs, I think Millwall are in there by a firm 6 points as well now. Bristol City in 7th, played the same amount of games, 6 points away from them on 43. it's starting to shape up this playoff picture, I think, and United cannot afford any more mistakes. They play a 4-2-3-1 formation, and this is the side that they put out last time, a little bit like United, and very annoyingly, they go in number order. But we know that Denora is in the middle with Billy Mitchell. Alfie Doughty plays on the left-hand side. Who else do we know? We know that Taylor's been a good player for him. Jake Cooper always comes back to haunt us, doesn't he? Josh Coburn up front last time. They may well have another player. I mean, who did I put as their danger man here? Jake Cooper, yeah. They may have another player to add to the mix who is just sat probably on the bench, let's be right, because it's levels in this league, isn't it? But they've just signed this man, the wee man. The wee man who looks like he's been to Turkey and finished it off at the back there for a little while. Barry Bannon has signed for Millwall in time to play, from what we understand, in time to play against Sheffield United. So, in terms of who we need to look out for, is he one? Is he one really? No, to be fair, the one that we do need to look at is Femi Aziz. Doughty can cause all sorts of problems from set pieces. You may remember him from his Luton days in the Premier League. But Femi Aziz is going to be a real test for, I think, it'll be Sam McCallum down the left-hand side, our left-hand side there, right. Kramer is a great right-sided defender as well. They've been playing him right back, but he can play as a centre-half. They're strong throughout Millwall. And I was saying today, I think they're a very good championship. They've got very good championship players, but I think they're an excellent championship team. And I think that is the difference. I won't be surprised at all to see Ivanovic come into the side. I won't be surprised to see him go two up top and try and put a bit of pressure on our makeshift defence, really. I know they're the defenders by trade, me and McGuinness, obviously, but they're our third and fourth choice. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see him go with two up top. But we'll see, and that's our oppo. And I think it's right that we do them first, because we come on to the main boys now, don't we? And I'll get to your comments once we've done this, but how did United line up last time out? Well, we switched for this really impressive both victory and performance against Ipswich Town. We switched from a 4-4-2 to a 4-2-3-1. And this was the lineup. It was Cooper in goal, Femi Sariki at right back. It was McGuinness and me as your centre halves, and McCallum at left back. So although, you know, some of us will probably harshly shudder, and a lot of us, when we saw this team, thought it was the best that we could probably pick from what we had available. We've got McGuinness and me again going into this game against Millwall, and again, I think if there's a similar type of performance that there was against Ipswich, then we win this game. And I'm pretty confident in saying, look, we beat the form team, the team that Ipswich have been knocked off the top of the form table, and Millwall sit there now because of Sheffield United. And that's just a fact. So it's a fact, as Rafa Benitez would say. In the middle, we had Tom Davies, who I thought played really well for his first performance back in a long time. And Siddy Peck, born Rambler, top man, came and joined us for the after party later, give us a quick 2-3 minute interview. Thank you to Siddy for his time. Spoke to his granddad as well, who's next door neighbours, one of my best mates from school. Love that. Love the little intertwining connections. On the right was an impressive Andre Brooks. On the left, it was Gustavo Hamer coming back into the side. And Callum O'Hare was behind Patrick Bamford. And it was a really strong performance from that side. I think we looked dangerous throughout. Callum O'Hare looks really comfortable in his natural 10 role. Gustavo Hamer, 2 assists from the left-hand side. Looked a little bit like, dare we say, the old Gus Hamer. I am more than confident that we will stick to the 4-2-3-1. I'll be amazed if we don't. Let me know whether you think we go 4-4-2. The only doubt lingering in the back of my mind is I don't think he trusts any of the other 3 strikers to be a lone striker. But to do that, you'd have to go 2 up top again. You go back to your 4-4-2 and you take either Cal or Gus out of the side. And I think they deserve to keep the place, both of them, on last weekend's performance. So I would be shocked if we didn't go 4-2-3-1, particularly as it's away from home. So going with 1 up top as opposed to 2 is slightly more conservative. And I think this is what Chrissy Wilder will go with. I think he goes with exactly the same lineup, apart from the now banned Patrick Bamford, because he obviously got the yellow. We are missing our strongest spine for this game. We are missing our best centre half in Japhet Tanganga, best two centre halves if you count 1 and 2 with Bindon. We're missing, most likely, and we haven't heard Wilder's presser yet, so this might change, but Jairo Riedeveld, you have to rule him out until he's in my opinion, particularly with a hamstring injury. Missing Jairo Riedeveld, who's been brilliant for us this season, and we're missing Patrick Bamford, who's our best striker. Whether we're comfortable saying that after some of his antics last week, I still think he's been fantastic for Sheffield United. I think you have to accept that as part of his game, that he tries to win things, maybe the dark arts a little bit sometimes. I'm not keen on it. I'm not a fan. We'll always support our boys, and particularly when we sponsor them. But I think he let himself down in the moment that he knew straight away as well. He knew straight away. But what's done is done. And I think he will start with exactly the same lineup, with obviously just Tyrese Campbell up top. So that is a team of Michael Cooper in goal, who, by the way, do we need another moment just to praise Michael Cooper on how well he did against Ipswich? I think that was his best performance of the season, and he's been getting better all the time. Welcome back, Michael Cooper. It's great to have you back at the party. Sariki, breakout season. We'll be right back. Sam McCallum, you could argue, a little bit older, but breakout season, really. I think he's played certainly the best that I've known him to play. Definitely in a Sheffield United shirt, but he hasn't come onto the radar like he has anywhere else, to my knowledge, like he has this season. Sam McCallum keeps his place on merit for me. So the two fullbacks stay as they are. Ben Mee and Mark McGuinness, more of by necessity. But again, I think after a shaky start, particularly from Ben Mee, I thought they both did well against Ipswich. And you have to, and we want to praise them, don't we? It's not a case of, oh, well, thankfully they're a good performance. No, they're a good performance. Well played, both of you. Well done, stepping up in the absence of our starting two and sort of keeping your names in the frame. And we can come on to transfer business if you want, but I'm planning on doing possibly tomorrow a transfer video, because the presser will be on Friday, which we've got coming up and we'll talk about. But I think we go again, if fit enough, which there should be, because there's been a week's break between, with Siddy Peck, he's a Rambler, and Tom Davis, who has earned keeping his place. It just gives Blaster that extra breather that he hasn't had chance to have. And I think he's been flogged way too early. Wilder went really strong on some of the criticism that our Blasters faced in the pre-match presser for Ipswich. And fair play to him. Fair play, because people are looking at Ollie Arblaster and saying, well, where's the Ollie Arblaster of old? When is he going to get back up to speed? He went out for 13 months. 14, I think, close to 14 months. You've got to be more patient than that. And ideally, he would have come back through 21s and all this. And Wilder then went on to be spiky, as he tends to be, and say, well, next time then, you won't see him for 3 months and we'll just play him in 21s and we'll do this and we'll do that. And we'll drip feed him back in. In an ideal world, I know he was being spiky, but that is how we would do it. That is how we would reintegrate him into the side, because he needs proper managing in terms of coming back from a long-term injury. Andre Brooks, I thought, were, again, great on the right-hand side. Gus Hamer, another one to say welcome back to. Michael Cooper has been putting in consistent performances for a little while now and getting better and better. I now want to see that from Gus. I think this was Gus's best performance of the season, probably. A little bit like we're saying about Cooper, but I think Gus has probably got another gear that he can go to. So while Cooper is almost back to his consistent 8 and 9, I think Gus was up there with a strong 8 and could potentially get to that 8 or 9 on a regular basis again. Callum O'Hare, we love Cal. The player of the season, undoubtedly. Some people are trying to give him a run for his money. Sam McCallum certainly is, in terms of playing out of his skin, comparative to his previously perceived ability. But Callum O'Hare has been absolutely superb this year, and he'll take some catching for that player of the year. Ben Mee were on TalkSport earlier in the week. Thank you to those in the Platinum chat that posted that so we could see the clip. And he was saying exactly the same. Callum O'Hare has been our best player this season. Up front, now this is a contentious one for me. Tyrese Campbell is, for me, the third choice striker at the club behind Tom Cannon, but that's when we're playing in a 2. I think the best choice for a lone striker is Tyrese Campbell. If it can't be Bamford, it's got to be Tyrese Campbell as next in line. So if you want somebody to lead the line as a solo, I think Wilder will pip for Campbell. I've gone slightly different. I've gone for the exact same 10 behind, and I've gone for Tommy Cannon starting up front. And let me tell you why. It's not because I think Tom Cannon is better in a lone striker role than Tyrese Campbell. To be honest, I don't. And I'm a little bit put out with Campbell this season, and I'm warming. Not that I never went off Cannon, to be fair, but I think Cannon's made a better fist of it this season in terms of the opportunities presented to him. I think Tom Cannon does more running for the 60 minutes of this game, runs the legs off the centre halves, puts himself about a bit, creates space for players behind him, like the 3, Brooks, O'Hare and Hamer. I think that's what Cannon does, is moves players around. He might not be the most clinical. We'd like him to be a bit more of a direct goal threat than he has been. But I think he works his socks off for 60, 65 minutes. And then I think you bring on the best man for the job, which is Tyrese Campbell. And Tyrese Campbell, whose fitness has been the main question mark for me, and commitment, if you want to be brutal with it, but certainly his fitness levels. And I think a fresh Tyrese Campbell coming onto the field at 65 minutes to run at a fairly tired defence if Cannon's run their socks off and Callum O'Hare with that constant press that he's always doing. I think that is the way to go in this game. Now, it'll depend on how the game is balanced. If we're losing at that point, then he may take one of the back 3 off in terms of the 3 behind, Brooks, Hamer, O'Hare, and put a striker on and go 4-4-2. So it might be Campbell comes on alongside Cannon, and maybe Ings comes on a little bit later for Cannon then to get a bit of a breather. But if all things are still even, or we're winning, or whatever it might be, and he doesn't want to change much, or there's just one goal in it, he might not want to change much, I think you bring on Campbell rather than start with Campbell, because if you start with Campbell, he's done, he's cooked by 40 minutes. And it's a crying shame, it's embarrassing, and it also means that you get nothing out of him for back end at first half, and you get a little burst at beginning at second half, and that's probably about it, which is a sad indictment as to where we are. But that is my honest opinion on what we do. So I think Wilder will go with Campbell up top to start. I am going with Tommy Cannon up top in my starting 11. Let me know what you guys think. Would you go similar? Whose team do you prefer? Do you think it'll be completely different to that? Let me know what your teams are in the comments. Score prediction then. Oh, before I do, I'll let you know we're doing a watch along. We're doing a watch along on Saturday. It's an away game. I'm nipping to foreign climes, purchasing me game from SUTV, and I'm going to be watching Millwall versus the Blades. Nothing to do with the VPN. I'll be abroad. Just try and get a similar setup to my background as I can. So join us there for the game if you can. Score predictions then. It's a really tough game, this. Really tough. But look, I'll be honest. I think if we lose this game, that could be season done. And a lot will think it is already. I think if we get something here, it just continues that hope. If we get a draw, for instance, I think it just, because we're going into some favourable fixtures, not easy fixtures. Nothing's an easy fixture, but some more favourable fixtures we're coming into now. But if we win here, if we win this game, like it was a statement win last Saturday, if we can go to Millwall with a lot of players out, with our spine of our team gone, and get a win, I think we make the playoffs. I think we make the playoffs if we beat Millwall. Huge statement. Probably will be clipped and ridiculed later on. but that's where I'm going with. And as a score prediction, I think we can get a point. I think we can get a point to continue the door being creaked open very slightly for salvaging something from this season. And we'll continue to be uncomfortable throughout the season rather than just enjoying the ride like we all should be doing, because it's very unlikely that something comes along for us. Coming up, we will have Hot Off the Presser. That is, I believe, Jamie Dumplings put it in. It's early doors, Friday, I think. Is it 9:30, something like that? When we'll be half an hour after the presser anyway. So let me see if I can get the timings up. It might not show me on here. It doesn't. Once we knew the press conference times, I'm able to update my Hot Off the Presser link, which I'll tell you now is scheduled for 9:30 a.m. Hot Off the Presser, which means it doesn't mean we'll come on bang on 9:30. What it does mean is that his press conference is at 9 o'clock on Friday. So we'll be here for that. But as I say, I may well keep your notification bell on, because I may well come back and do a transfer video tomorrow, because I feel there's a bit I want to talk about. Some of the fan base is unhappy at the lack of activity, understandably so. But I think we do need a bit of perspective on it as well. So I've got a couple of different sides of the argument to talk about. We'll see. We'll see how the day goes in terms of whether I can get there or not, but hopefully we can. So let's get to your comments then. Hope you're all good. Paolo, the pasta man, says, how you doing, Jimmy, mate? Always a hard game at the Den, but I think we can win. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Always positive, Paolo. Love that, mate. Jamie Dumpling. Evening, Jimmy. Hope either one of my 18-leg Accas goes well for the UEFA Champions League. You've been watching my mate, haven't you? You've been watching my mate. That, his TikTok did something like 55,000 views in first hour. Absolutely ridiculous. Nervous for this game, says Jamie, but fingers crossed. Riyadh has signed in time and Bindon is back. Also, could everyone please tune in this Friday on Ramble FC or Behind the Ramble, as myself and Batman Lou will be doing a watch along for Bristol City versus Derby. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Yeah, thank you to everybody that supports us on our sister channels, if you like. We've got Ramble FC, which talks a little bit about wider football content, and we do watch-alongs now that of the Championship, and Job Motson and Gaz Dunn did one of Everton v Leeds on Monday night. Going down really well. It's another privilege that we try and offer to our Platinum Ramblers. So thank you to everybody that supports us that way. It's very much appreciated and helps us keep the channel going as it is, which is, I can't tell you what it means. But Jamie Dumpling is joining Batman Lou on Friday to do a Bristol City versus Derby watch along. Right. And so thank you for that. John says, hi Jimmy, the last 13 head-to-head games at the Den, United won 7, Lions won 6, Lions last 6 home games, 1-4 draw, 1 lost 1, scored 12, goal difference +5, United's last 6 away games, 1-2, lost 4, scored 8, goal difference -4. Data favours Millwall, but hopefully the win against Ipswich will boost United's confidence. Jimmy, my team for Saturday. Well, just on that then, John, before I go on to your team, I would agree with you, but the Championship is not about data for me. Any team, at it sounds like a cliche, but it's so true. Any team can beat any team at any time. Any. So I know what you're saying. And the form team, it usually goes with the form team. But it didn't last Saturday. And it was typical United that we turn up and we, after 2 losses on the spin, we beat the informed team in the league. So stranger things have happened, John. I know you know that. I'd have to teach you to say that. Jimmy, my team for Saturday is Cooper, Sariki, Bindon. Is Bindon going to be back? If Bindon's back, then obviously I put him in for McGuinness. Bindon, me, McCallum. Peck, Tom, I know Wilder said he might be, but I don't always believe him. Peck and Tom Davis, Brooks, Callum, Gus, and Cannon up top, up the Blades, up the Worldwide Blades Ramble, and be positive. Jack says, evening, Jimmy, unless we have players coming back, I'd stick with the same team, but have Cannon up front. That's exactly how I saw it, pal. I can see us nicking something here. Millwall will be playing with a lot of confidence. I think we could use that to our advantage. It's pretty simple, really. Defend well, bang a couple of goals in, and get on the coach home with 3 points. Ian says, evening, Jimmy. Time to put the recent away form to bed. Hope to see the same lineup as Ipswich with Cannon in for Pat. 3-0 again. Ole, ole. Please like, subscribe, and hype. Paolo says, hi, Jimmy Pal. I hope you're okay. And Andy, your dad's okay. Family's okay. And all the Ramblers and family on here okay. I'm going for a 3-0 Blades win. Ian, Paolo, I want some of whatever you're having, lads. We love 3 goals. If we win, cappuccinos all round, buddy. Up the Ramble, up the Blades. You keep saying this. I'm yet to see a cappuccino from you, Paolo, but yeah, no worries, pal. Dave Jenko says, let's hope it's the good Blades that turn up. Consistency is the key for the rest of the season. Desperately need a run of wins. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. David says, hoping for an A game from the team. Only changes for Pat. I would love another win at the Den, but I'd take a draw. Absolutely we would. And up the Blades, up the Ramble. Top man. Sarah says, evening, Jimmy. Hope you're well. Looking forward to the weekend. Hopefully take a draw. I'm sure the Blades fans will say hi to Bannon. Yeah, old Bazza. Danya says, hi, Jimmy and everyone. Up the Blades. Feel like this game's going to be a close 2-1 with a late winner. Who to? Who to, Danya? That's the question. Danny Boy says, hi, Jimmy. Hope we can bring a few players in before the deadline. Seems that all the targets have gone elsewhere or in the process of going. I'd take a draw at Millwall, especially with 3 players suspended. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Yep, I'd certainly take a draw, pal. Ian says, will there be a watch-along by any chance, Jimmy, seeing as you're heading overseas this weekend? Oh, mate. I mean, I know you've put this before I did it, but it just gives me another opportunity to chuck this up, doesn't it? So, yes, there will be a watch-along, my mate, and thank you very much. You know exactly what you're doing. Jack says, good luck, One. Should have been loaned out ages ago. Dave Morwood says, evening, Jimmy. I hope you're well. Looking forward to a good display on Saturday. We can do this. Up all the Rambles, up the Blades, up the positive 6. Like and subscribe to the #1 Blades channel. Thank you, mate. Batman Lou says, mon chapeau, Jim. Mon chapeau, my friend. 4-2-3-1 and 1 change for me. An enforced 1. Tie for Pat. Up the Blades, up all the Rambles. Like and subscribe. Danny says, nice to see One go out on loan. If he bangs the goals in, his value will go up. If we then sell in the summer, it's nice that Blades have got all the sell-on clauses, so 100% of the money Blades will get. Nice bit of business. Now then, this is in relation to an earlier story today that was floated from the Daily Record in Scotland, I believe, that Hamilton Academicals, who we signed Ryan One from, had approached Sheffield United and asked that we buy out their sell-on percentage for Ryan One. So when we bought Ryan One from them, they had something like a 20% sell-on of any profit that we made. So obviously, we say we sell him for 10 million quid, we'd have to give 200 grand to them. Is that what I said? Selling for 10 million quid, we'd have to give 2 million quid to them. Yeah, apologies. It's been a long day. To offset that, we have negotiated with them in this Daily Record article and bought out the sell-on percentage. So we've given them, say, between 250 and 500 grand or something, because they are struggling to pay their players at the moment. We've given them that money. There'll be no more sell-on percentage. So if and when Ryan One is sold, 100% of the profit goes to Sheffield United. I would love it if that's the case. Andy Giddings, it has to be said, from Radio Sheffield, very reliable, usually spot on with where they get their information. Has debunked it from what I understand. I've not seen anything that's come out since that might have confirmed it since, but I know that he put a tweet out earlier today saying that something of the nature of hearing rumours about a sell-on clause being bought out are inaccurate at this time. Something like that. James says, have we signed anyone yet? Any update? No, pal, we have not. Chariot says, February is a big month. 4 home games with Cov and Borough to deal with. Winner takes all. That'll be our season either on or done. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Marco says, I think we stay with the 4-2-3-1 with TC in for Bams. Yeah, I think that's how we'll line up. I think that is how it'll go. Where are all the transfers, says Paul? I can't see anybody. Me neither. The only way I can see us playing one up front is with Cannon, with O'Hare just behind, says Daniel. I'd like to see that, if I'm honest. And James says he put Cannon in for Bamford as well. Mark now tweaking with Blaster in for Davis and TC in for Bamford. Interesting. Lisa says, hi, Jimmy. I'll watch this later for you to get me to sleep. Oh, thanks, Lisa. Oh, yeah. Yeah, nice to see you at weekend. Daz says, I think we'll miss Robinson's crossfield passes, Jim, but going for a tough, gritty 1-0 win. Clever, I see what you've done there. Honestly, not too fussed about Bamford trying to con the ref. About time we start using some dark arts. Disagree. Let's hope sending Davies to the specialist helps us with his injury. Blaster shouldn't be anywhere near this squad right now. Get Femi and Brooks signed up, says Jack. Chariot says, Bamford is our best striker, does things instinctively, which can't be taught. I agree. Going to be a big miss on Saturday. All hands on deck to find a goal or two. Phil says, hello, Jimmy. Same team as Saturday. Tyrese Campbell replacing Pat Bamford. I believe we can beat anyone in this league. Depends which version of our team turns up. Up the Ramble. Yes, completely agree. Teddy says, going for a 2-1 Millwall. Thank you, my mate. Because United won one game. They aren't good. Millwall will thrash them. Absolutely. We'll thrash them. 2-1. Thrashed. Evening, Jim, says Cooler King. Yes, the dark arts, let's face it, diving are part of Bamford's game. And if you buy him, you accept it. But if you accept it from him, you can't complain when it happens to you. Yeah, I suppose. Let me know what time you want me to pick you up at the airport, Jim. Thank you, Daz. Yeah, I will, mate. I will. Trusty says, if we play to our best abilities, we'll win. Yes, Millwall are 5th, but this year's league isn't that strong in my opinion. These are the games we have to win, says Luke. We have to take points from the teams above us. A loss on Saturday and the season is done. A lot would agree with that. I think now you have to look at these games, and because we can't afford any slip-ups, we now have to win the games that we would happily have taken a point at the beginning of the season. You have to go and win these games if you're going to do anything, don't you? I think we'll get a point, and I think it sort of prolongs our season. We need to win, really. Cad says, I think Campbell will be best up front because he has pace. I hope it's his time to shine up the blades. So do I, mate. So do I. And I think it's one of them. Hi, Jimmy, says Billy. Have you had a sniff of a transfer? Nothing more than you haven't already heard, to be honest. There's a lot of talk in our Platinum chat. There's a couple of really well-informed people in there. Just to get another plug. But no, I haven't. And I haven't been digging, to be honest. Evening, Jim, says Martin. Easy 2-1 win for the Blades. Playoffs back on. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Love the range of opinions on this. Black Fen says, evening, Jim. We have to be solid for 10 to 15 minutes because they come out of the blocks, especially Aziz and Kramer down the right. It's H. Oh, yeah, H from Steps, yeah. I'll be there, but sat with my brother-in-law with my Blades Ramble t-shirt on. Top man. Love that. Nige says, have you seen that Cal's predicted a 3-0 loss for us? Can tell he's from Dinglesville. I don't think he predicted that when I spoke to him earlier. I think it was a 2-1 Millwall on Yorkshire's finest. So he's all over the place, that lad. Saw him today. We've recorded some more for Proper Football. Get yourself subscribed to that as well. While you're subscribing to everything, Proper Football is out as well. That's going really well as well. It's a new channel with myself, Callum Fowler and Conor McGilligan. And we just talk all things Championship football. And it's been very fun to put together. Take a draw, says Dave. When do we draw games? I think we've got 2 draws all season, haven't we? Yeah, it's not very often. Harry says, evening, Jim. Hope you're okay. Glad you're doing this. I'm bored at work. Any news of any signings yet? Been so boring this week. Sorry, pal. Nothing. Who remembers Paddy scrapping in the tunnel at Millwall? Serves you right for Muscat, that. Serves you right for Muscat. I guess Bannon will be starting for Millwall, says Michael Brown. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll start. I think he'll be on the bench. And Danny says, wouldn't surprise me if we play with a 4-4-2 with Cannon and Campbell up top. Cannon hasn't led the line so well this season and he's isolated because of it. He needs help up top. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how he goes. I think he'll stick with a 4-2-3-1. It wouldn't shock me to go back to the 4-4-2. I want to say thank you to everybody for joining me tonight. We're going to call it there. I'm at the end of the comments now. So thank you to everybody for joining me. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Of the Blades!